Stop. Don't spend that penny yet. One of the 5 pennies we're about to reveal could be worth millions of dollars to the right collector. From ultra-rare, minting errors to pennies hiding in plain sight. Check your change, because you could be holding a fortune. Let's uncover the top 5. Stop what you are doing. Seriously. Pause the video. Look down at your pocket, your wallet, that dusty jar of loose change on your nightstand. You're looking for Ghost. A coin so subtly different from its billions of identical siblings that you might have spent it without a second thought. That coffee you bought this morning? That parking meter you fed last week? You might have just handed over a fortune and never even knew it. Today, we are diving deep into the silent killer of pocket change, the 1978 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny. This is not just a coin. This is a potential 6-figure lottery ticket hiding in plain sight. And by the end of this video, you're going to be looking at every single penny in your life with a completely different set of eyes. There's a war being fought in your pocket right now. On one side, you have the spender. The spender sees a penny and thinks, useless, a nuisance. Throw it in the jar, take it to the coin star, lose it in the couch cushions. The spender is blind. The spender is the reason treasures are lost to the sands of time. On the other side, you have the collector. The collector looks at that same dull piece of copper and sees history, sees potential, sees a payday. In 1978, the United States Mint struck over 5.5 billion pennies at the Philadelphia facility alone. Think about that number for a second. 5 billion. That is more than the population of the planet at the time. So common that we treat them like dirt. Yet, hidden within that massive sea of copper, there are anomalies so rare that they command the attention of the wealthiest numismatists on Earth. Now, here's where it gets interesting. A lot of people see a coin from 1978 with no mint mark and think, aha, an error. But that is the first trap. The Philadelphia Mint simply did not put a P on their coins back then. That is the standard issue. So, if you find a regular 1978 penny with no D or S, it is likely just a Philly penny, worth about 1 cent. Don't let that disappointment make you throw it back. Because the real money, the life-changing money, is in the ghosts that shouldn't exist. The errors that were never meant to leave the building. The what-ifs of the minting press. The 1978 Lincoln penny is a creature of the Copper Age. It is heavy, weighing in at 3.11 grams, composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc. It feels different in your hand than the zinc slugs they make today. It has heft. It has soul. And because of that composition, it is a prime candidate for the most coveted errors in the hobby. Let's talk about the ghost errors. The first, and perhaps the most dramatic, is the wrong planchet error. Imagine a dime planchet, which is smaller and made of a copper nickel clad, accidentally getting fed into the penny press. Boom! You have a 1978 penny that looks like a dime, weighs like a dime, but has Abraham Lincoln's face on it. These are incredibly rare and can be worth thousands of dollars to the right buyer. Then, you have the off-center strikes. If the die doesn't align perfectly with the blank, you get a coin with a crescent-shaped blank spot. The more dramatic the off-center, the higher the value. But wait, there is more. Look closely at the details. Is the lettering blurry? Is there a shadow on the date? You might be looking at a double die error. While the 1972 and 1969 S double dies are the heavy hitters, any 1978 specimen showing a significant doubling of the design elements is a rare bird indeed. These are the ghosts because they aren't supposed to exist. They are the result of a die striking the coin twice at a slight angle. It is the mint leaving a fingerprint of its own chaos. And collectors will pay a premium for that chaos. A high-grade example of a rare error can easily pull in hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars. Here is where the rubber meets the road. You have heard the hype about the $690,000 penny. That is the pinnacle. That is the coin that makes the news. While it is true that certain pennies like the 1943 copper penny have sold for over $1 million, the 1978 penny is the sleeping giant of the modern era. Just recently, a pristine 1978 S-proof penny, graded a perfect PR 70 deep cameo, sold for $4,313 at Heritage Auctions. And a flawless 1978 no mint mark penny graded MS67 plus red sold for a staggering $4,259. That is a penny that someone likely found in their pocket or in a roll from the bank, and it turned into a $4,000 windfall for a single cent. So what's the call to action? Check your change. Right now, it is not just about finding a mint error. It is about the 95% copper content. If the market for copper skyrockets, every single one of these pennies becomes more valuable than its face value. This is hidden wealth. This is the intersection of history, metallurgy, and luck. The market is heating up. Collectors are hungrier than ever for high-grade red copper. The 1978 penny is a bridge between the old world of wheat pennies and the modern era. It is the last hurrah of the classic copper cent before they turned to zinc in 1982. If you have a 1978 penny, look at the color. Is it a brilliant, fiery red? Or has it faded to a dull brown? The red ones are the ones that make collectors sweat. Protect it. Do not clean it. Do not rub it. Any damage you do to the surface is money you are scraping off. Put in a protective holder and get it graded. This is the treasure hunt. You're looking for a ghost that could be worth a down payment on a house. A ghost that is sitting in your junk drawer right now. Don't let the spender win. Become the collector. Look closely, because the difference between a penny and a payday is just a millimeter of copper and a single, catastrophic mistake at the mint. And if you think the 1978 penny is a mystery, wait until you hear about the 1983 penny that weighs the same as a dime. The one that is worth even more. This is the reality of the 1979 D. Abraham Lincoln 1-cent penny. While over 4 billion of these coins were struck at the Denver Mint, a ghost exists within that massive mintage. A specific error so rare, so elusive, that it has transformed a humble piece of copper into a treasure worth up to an astonishing $500,000. The question that should be burning in your mind right now is this. Are you the spender or are you the collector? Every single day, millions of these pennies exchange hands. The average person sees 1 cent. The trained eye sees the potential for life-changing wealth. This is the ultimate contrast between those who are asleep at the wheel and those who are paying attention. And right now, I need you to pause and think. When is the last time you actually looked at the change in your pocket? Not just glanced at it, but really studied it? That moment of ignorance could be costing you a fortune. The fear of missing out is real, and the window of opportunity to find this specific treasure is narrowing with every passing day. Are you going to be the one who lets it go, or the one who cashes in? Let's go deep into the minting process to understand why this coin is a phantom in the numismatic world. The 1979 D cent carries the iconic Lincoln Memorial reverse design, a staple of American currency. But it is what is happening at the microscopic level that defines its value. You see, in 1979, the Denver Mint used a specific punch to create the D mint mark on the dies. This punch was faulty. It had a split on the lower serif, a tiny imperfection that would normally go unnoticed. However, when this broken punch was used, it created a specific anomaly on the coin, an error that the untrained eye would dismiss as damage, but the collector recognizes as a signature of rarity. But this is just the beginning of the ghost story. The true treasure lies in what we call error coins. We are talking about a coin that was struck under the wrong conditions. Imagine a copper planchet intended for a cent accidentally being fed into a press for a dime. Or perhaps a coin struck off center, missing a significant portion of the design. These are not just imperfections. They are frozen moments of chaos in the minting process. The most valuable of these are the off-metal strikes and the dramatic wrong planchet errors, where a Lincoln cent is born on a blank mint for another denomination entirely. These coins are so rare that they are nearly mythical. When they do surface, they command prices that defy logic. The 1979 D cent with a specific, pronounced error, such as being struck on a dime planchet or having a dramatic double die, is the ghost we are hunting. It is a coin that shouldn't exist, and because it shouldn't exist, it is worth a king's ransom. The history is written in the metal, a testament to a split-second malfunction that created a masterpiece worth $500,000. And now, we arrive at the moment of truth, the resolution. What is this coin actually worth in the current market? Here is where the excitement reaches a fever pitch. A standard, circulated 1979 penny is worth its face value. But the moment you introduce an error, the value skyrockets. An uncirculated specimen in pristine condition can reach into the hundreds of dollars. However, the real heat is in the errors. A 1979 penny struck on a dime planchet can easily fetch between $500 and $2,000. But we're not talking about the good ones. We're talking about the legendary ones. The elusive double die errors, the dramatic off-center strikes that leave the date and mint mark visible, and the rare off-metal compositions have the potential to reach values of up to $500,000. Recent auctions have seen error coins from this era sell for thousands, with some rare Lincoln cents commanding six-figure sums. The market is white-hot. Collectors are desperate to get their hands on these anomalies. The urgency is palpable. This is not just a hobby. It is a hunt for hidden wealth. So, here's your call to action. Do not let another day pass without checking your pocket change. Go to that jar on your dresser, that tin in your car, that box of old coins in your closet. Look specifically for the 1979 penny. Check the mint mark. Look for doubling in the letters and the date. Examine the edges for any irregularities. Weigh it. A normal penny weighs 3.11 grams. If it feels lighter or heavier, you might have struck gold. Do not spend it. Do not clean it. Cleaning a coin destroys its numismatic value. Protect it. Get authenticated. This could be your ticket to financial freedom. The spender sees a penny. The collector sees a legacy. Which one are you? And before you go, remember this. The 1979 is just one piece of the puzzle. There are other ultra-rare coins hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered. Coins that could change your life overnight. In our next video, we will uncover another ghost from the U.S. Mint. A coin so rare that only a handful are known to exist, and it could be sitting in your change right now. You're standing in line at the grocery store, waiting to pay. The person in front of you fumbles through a worn leather coin purse, pulling out a handful of change to cover the last few dollars of their bill. The cashier slides a single copper coin back across the counter. It's a penny. You watch as that person, frustrated and indifferent, drops the coin into the take a penny, leave a penny tray. They just let it go. They saw a penny. They saw nothing. But you saw a ghost. What if I told you that the coin you just watched them abandon could very well be a 70-year-old relic, an error-ridden masterpiece of minting mistakes, potentially worth over $500,000? In the world of numismatics, the line between pocket change and life-changing wealth is thinner than the edge of a coin itself. Today, we are going to talk about the holy grail of modern cents, the 1964 Lincoln Memorial Penny. And I promise you, by the end of this video, you're going to want to check every single jar, every single drawer, and every single forgotten coat pocket in your house. This is the story of the coin that could be hiding in your change right now. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Nearly 4 billion of these coins were struck at the Denver Mint in 1964. That is 3,799,071,500 pennies. Statistically, your chances of finding one are incredibly high. But here is the catch. The coin you're looking for isn't just any 1964 penny. It is the error. It is the anomaly. It is the ghost in the machine. You see, the United States Mint was in a state of absolute chaos in the mid-1960s. A massive coin shortage was sweeping the nation. The price of silver was skyrocketing, and the government was frantically trying to figure out how to keep the economy running without using precious metals. In the middle of this frenzy, the Mint was transitioning from 90% silver planchets to the copper nickel-clad compositions that we use today. And in that chaos, mistakes were made. Beautiful, lucrative, $500,000 mistakes. So, what exactly are we looking for? Let's get technical. The 1964 penny is composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, giving it that distinct, heavy feel in your hand. But the errors? That's where the magic happens. We're talking about the off-metal strike. This is a transitional error that occurs when a blank mint for a dime, a coin that is physically smaller and lighter, is accidentally fed into the penny press. The result is a penny struck on a dime planchet. Given the smaller diameter of the dime, the design often appears off-center or weakly struck, with soft details around the edges. But here's the kicker. Because the dime planchets in 1964 were supposed to be 90% silver, finding a 1964 penny on a clad dime planchet is a fascinating historical artifact of the mint's transition. These wrong planchet errors are so rare that they are the stuff of legend. But wait, there's more. Let's talk about the SMS, or special strike. Now, this is where it gets mysterious. Officially, the United States Mint did not produce special mint sets in 1964. Those sets were introduced in 1965. However, there exists a tiny, almost mythical group of 1964 coins with a special, satin-like finish that were never meant for circulation. These are the 1964 SMS coins. Some believe they were prototypes, experimental strikes created to test the finishes for the upcoming SMS sets. They are characterized by smooth, clean fields, devoid of the usual nicks and scratches found on circulation strikes. PCGS, the professional coin grading service, notes that these coins are extremely scarce. To put that into perspective, a 1964 special strike penny in SP67 red condition achieved a staggering $19,200 at auction. And while that is an incredible sum, it is merely a stepping stone to the seven-figure territory that some penny errors command. The 1943 D bronze cent, for example, sold for $1.7 million. The 1964 D is that coin's modern, incredibly rare cousin. So how do you spot one? Look at your 1964 D penny right now. Is the D, mint mark below the date, crisp and clear? Or does it look like it was stamped twice, slightly overlapping? That is a repunched mint mark, or RPM, and while it is relatively common, certain variations could be worth $5 to $50. Look at the edge of the coin. Is it perfectly round, or is there a flat, clipped section missing? That is a clipped planchet, a favorite among collectors. But the real gold mine is the double die. Look closely at the words E pluribus unum on the reverse. If you see a distinct, crisp doubling of the letters, especially the S in states or the lettering around the memorial, you might be holding a fortune. A 1964 double die reverse, known as FS801, can sell for hundreds, if not thousands, depending on its condition. And remember, the key to all of this is condition. A coin in mint state, with its original, vibrant red color intact, is exponentially more valuable than a worn, brown coin. A standard 1964 D penny in MS65 red might fetch a few dollars. But an SMS in the same grade? $11,000 for $100. A standard issue in MS67 for $1,025. Now, for the resolution. The market for these coins is hotter than ever. The rise of social media and online auction houses has created a frenzy of collectors and investors. The hidden wealth narrative is incredibly powerful, and it is driving prices up. The coin you casually toss into a Coinstar machine could be the same coin that pays off your mortgage. The fear of missing out is real, and the urgency is now. As we have seen, a 1964 D penny in top condition, with the right error, is a blue-chip asset. But here's the call to action. Stop scrolling. Stop watching. Go to your change jar. Separate the 1964 pennies. Look at the mint mark. Look at the details. Look for the doubling, the clips, the off-center strikes. Use a magnifying glass. The difference between a penny and a payday is a single, overlooked detail. This isn't just a hobby. It is a treasure hunt. To the spender, it is a nuisance. To the collector, it is a lifeline. To you, it could be a legacy. The 1964 D Lincoln Memorial Penny. It sits in the shadows of numismatics, a ghost in the market, waiting to be found. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of ultra-rare coins, and you want to know which other pennies could be hiding in your pocket, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Every single day, millions of Americans empty their pockets, toss their spare change into jars, and never give it a second thought. But what if I told you that one of those pennies, a coin so common you probably wouldn't even bend over to pick it up, could be the key to unlocking a life-changing fortune. What if, hiding in plain sight, a 1979 Lincoln cent with no mint mark could be worth nearly $500,000? Today, we are going to separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. We are going to explore the ghost in the market, the error that turns pocket change into a collector's dream, and reveal exactly what you need to look for. Stop everything you are doing right now. Go and grab that jar of loose change you have been ignoring for years. I will wait, because the coin sitting at the bottom could be the difference between spending a penny and selling it for a small fortune. Here is the reality. Every year, the United States Mint produces billions of pennies. The 1979 Lincoln cent is no exception. With over 6 billion struck at the Philadelphia Mint alone, it is one of the most common coins in circulation. If you have a standard 1979 penny without a mint mark, it is generally worth just its face value or a few cents for its copper content. An uncirculated specimen might fetch a few dollars. But we are not here to talk about ordinary coins. We are here to talk about the ghost, the specific error varieties that turn this common cent into a numismatic legend. The confusion starts with the mint mark itself. On a 1979 penny, the absence of a mint mark simply means it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. For most of U.S. coinage history, Philadelphia coins bore no mark. The absence was the identifier. So, if you find a 1979 penny without a D or S, don't get too excited just yet. That is standard. However, the true value lies in the anomalies, the errors that occurred during the minting process. These are not post-mint damage. These are genuine mint-made errors that command premium prices. So, what makes a 1979 penny worth a potential $490,000? We are talking about specific, dramatic errors. The most famous and valuable are the double die varieties. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin receives two misaligned impressions, creating a visible doubling effect on the design. While 1979 double die obverse DDO can be worth hundreds, the true treasure is the double die reverse DDR. The 1979 DDR is actually rarer than its obverse counterpart, making it a particularly exciting find for specialists. In top condition, these errors have sold for over $1,000. But there is another layer to this mystery. Here is where it gets interesting. Some of the most valuable error coins are the no-S proof coins, where the San Francisco Mint accidentally omitted the mint mark. The most famous is the 1990's no-S proof cent, which is an ultra rarity. While 1979 no-S proof is not the standard, the concept highlights how a missing mint mark on a coin that should have one can create immense value. But the $490,000 figure? That is the ceiling. That is the price for a perfect storm. We're talking about a coin with a major double die error, a coin that has survived in pristine, uncirculated condition for over 40 years, and a coin that has been authenticated and graded by a top-tier service like PCGS or NGC. In a recent auction, a high-grade example of a rare Lincoln cent error sold for a staggering sum. The market for these coins is red hot, and collectors are paying top dollar for the chance to own a piece of minting history. This brings us to the confrontation, you versus the market. The challenge is that many apparent errors are actually just post-mint damage or common die chips that add no value. Machine doubling, for example, creates a flat, shelf-like shadow that is often mistaken for the raised, distinct doubling of a true double die. You need a jeweler's loupe and a keen eye to spot the difference. The coins are out there. They're sitting in jars, in bank vaults, and in old collections. The question is, do you have the knowledge to find one? The potential is there. Uncirculated 1979 pennies in MS-68 condition are very difficult to find and command a very strong premium. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that is worth more than a house. That is the excitement, the thrill of the hunt that drives collectors. The current market trends show a surge in interest for error coins, with prices climbing as more people become aware of these hidden treasures. So what is the resolution? What do you do now? First, do not spend another 1979 penny without examining it first. Take a magnifying glass and look closely at the date and the lettering on both sides. Look for any signs of doubling, any anomalies in the design. If you think you have found something special, do not clean it. Cleaning a coin can destroy its value. Instead, take it to a reputable coin dealer or submit it to a professional grading service for authentication. The path to hidden wealth is paved with knowledge. The more you know, the better your chances of finding that one in a million coin. And remember, this is just the beginning. There are other ultra-rare coins out there, waiting to be discovered. In our next video, we will uncover another ghost of the mint, a coin so rare that most collectors have never even seen one. Subscribe now and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on the next treasure hunt. Your fortune could be just a penny away. Every single day, millions of Americans unknowingly hand over small fortunes for a cup of coffee or a pack of gum. They empty their pockets, dump their change into jars, and spend pennies without a second thought. But here is the cold, hard truth that separates the financially free from the financially unaware. One single penny from 1970, minted in Denver with a tiny D mark, could be worth up to $400,000. Let that sink in. $400,000 for 1 cent. This isn't a fantasy. This isn't an internet myth. This is the reality of modern numismatics, and it is happening right now, in your pocket, in your couch cushions, in that dusty jar on your nightstand. The question is not whether these coins exist. It is whether you are smart enough to recognize one before you spend it like a fool. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny? I mean, really looked at it with a magnifying glass, under good light, examining every detail? If you're like most people, the answer is never. You see the copper color, you see Lincoln's profile, and you move on. You are a spender. You are the person who treats pocket change as insignificant. But there's another type of person out there. The collector, the hunter, the person who understands that hidden wealth is not always found in bank accounts or stock portfolios. Sometimes it is found in the most mundane places imaginable. And right now, while you're scrolling through this video, somewhere out there, a collector is examining a 1970 D penny, and they're about to become $250,000 richer. That could be you, but only if you know what to look for. So, what makes the 1970 D Lincoln cent so special? To understand that, we have to go back to 1970. The United States Mint was producing billions of pennies. In fact, over 2.89 billion of these coins were struck in Denver alone. They were made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, a composition that gave them a distinctive weight and feel. For the most part, these pennies are incredibly common. You can find them in circulation up to about MS-64 condition without much trouble. A standard 1970 D penny in uncirculated condition might be worth a few dollars at best. But here's where it gets interesting, and this is the part that most people completely miss. The real value of the 1970 D penny is not in its standard issue. It is in the errors. It is in the mistakes that happened during the minting process, mistakes that created coins so rare and so unique that collectors will pay almost anything to own them. One of the most significant errors you need to look for is the repunched mint mark, or RPM. This happens when the mint mark is punched into the die more than once, creating a visible overlapping effect. For the 1970 D penny, there's a known variety called the D/D South, where the secondary D appears south of the primary D. This variety is listed as 1970 D 1 cent WRPM 004 by some experts, and RPM 2 by the combined organizations of Numismatic Error Collectors of America. Now, a coin with this error might not make you a millionaire overnight, but it is a clear sign that you are holding something special, something that is worth far more than 1 cent. But the real treasure, the one that will make your heart race, is the double die obverse. I want you to picture this. You're holding a penny in your hand. You look at the date, and instead of a crisp, clean 1970, you see doubling. The numbers look slightly blurred, as if they were stamped twice. The letters in Liberty and In God We Trust show a similar ghostly duplication. This is not an optical illusion. This is a double die error, and it is one of the most sought-after varieties in all of modern numismatics. For the 1970 D penny, a minor obverse double die has been identified, showing a partial horizontal bar above the 7 in the date. This variety is listed as 1970D 1 cent WDDO 017 and 1970D 1 002. While the most famous double-die pennies come from San Francisco, the 1970S DDO FS 101, which is one of only approximately 50 known examples, set a world record of $38,400 at auction. The potential for a Denver Mint error of similar magnitude cannot be ignored. Now, let's talk about the ghost. Every now and then, a coin appears that defies explanation. A coin so rare that it barely exists in the public record. This is the ghost of the 1970D penny. While the 1970S small date and the 1970S double die obverse are well-documented rarities, the Denver Mint produced its own share of mysteries. The 1970D Lincoln cent is really common in most grades. But what if you found one with a combination of errors? What if you found a 1970D penny with a repunched mint mark, a double die obverse, and an off-center strike all on the same coin? Suddenly, you're not looking at a common penny anymore. You're looking at a numismatic anomaly, a coin that could be worth tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. The market for error coins is red hot. Collectors are paying premium prices for coins that are authenticated and graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, and the demand is only increasing. But here is the harsh reality. Most people will never find this coin because they are not looking for it. They're not paying attention. They're too busy scrolling through their phones, too distracted by the noise of everyday life to notice the potential fortune sitting right in front of them. And that is exactly how the rich stay rich and the poor stay poor. The wealthy understand that opportunity is everywhere, but is often disguised as something ordinary. A penny is ordinary, but a 1970D penny with a repunched mint mark and a double die is extraordinary. And right now, the market is screaming for these coins. The 1970S DDO FS 101 has been valued at up to $38,400, and other error pennies have sold for even more. A 1982D bronze small date cent sold for $18,800. A 1988 double die sold for $64,000. These are not anomalies. They're proof that the market for error coins is alive and well, and it is hungry for more. I want you to stop what you are doing right now. Seriously, pause this video. Go find a jar of change, any jar, and dump it out on a table. Look at every single penny from 1970. Look at the mint mark. Is there a D? Good. Now look closer. Get a magnifying glass if you have one. Examine the date. Look at the letters. Do you see any doubling? Do you see any extra markings around the mint mark? If you do, you might be holding a ticket to financial freedom. Do not spend it. Do not give it away. Do not clean it. Handling your coin by the edges is crucial to avoid leaving fingerprints, which can diminish its value. Instead, put it in a safe place and get it professionally authenticated. So what is the bottom line? The 1970D penny is a coin of contrasts. In its standard form, it is practically worthless, worth only its face value or a few dollars in uncirculated condition. But in its error forms, it transforms into a treasure of immense value. The repunched mint mark varieties, the double die varieties, and the off-center strikes all carry significant premiums. And while the legendary $400,000 valuation might be the pinnacle of what is possible, it is not out of reach. The market is volatile, the demand is high, and the supply of these rare coins is extremely limited. The only question is, will you be one of the lucky ones who recognizes the value before it is too late? This is your moment. This is your call to action. The next time you get change from a cashier, do not just shove it into your pocket. Look at it. Examine it. You never know when a single penny could change your life. And if you want to stay ahead of the curve, if you want to be the first to know about the next ultra-rare coin that could be hiding in plain sight, then make sure you are subscribed. Hit that bell icon, because in the world of numismatics, the next treasure is always just a pocket away. And the difference between a spender and a collector is simply this. The collector knows what they are looking at. The spender just sees a penny. Be a collector.